Prediction markets have been in the news a lot lately because they've been involved in sports betting and they're competing with people like DraftKings and FanDuel. Kalshi and Polymarket are the biggest prediction markets trying to cash in on the sports betting craze. And there's litigation in several states going on, both at the state and federal level, over this attempt to try to use the federal registration as a designated contract market with the CFTC in order to bypass state gaming regulations. So while everyone is talking about what prediction markets are and how they work and if you should ban them, I think we should take a step back and talk about why they work. So we'll go over why they work and if that's useful in this video. So this is a good place to start. This is Sir Francis Galton, and if you are involved in prediction markets or math, you probably would have heard of him. If not, you wouldn't have. But he's the one who figured out the law of large numbers and a lot of other things that we take for granted today. So for instance, in this machine, you drop a ball here and it randomly bounces back and forth. And then eventually you end up with this, which is called a normal distribution, which you would recognize if you took statistics and they talk about coin flipping. That's something he came up with. And relevant for our discussion, he came up with this. So initially he had a bunch of random people guess how much an ox weighs, and 600 people, and they all guessed random numbers, and the average that they got was very close to that. So this experiment is repeated in a lot of classrooms where you try to guess the number of jelly beans in a jar. And then if one or two people guess, the numbers are way off. But, the more people you guess, the more accurate average number you get. Well, nobody knows how many beans are in the jar, but they're just guessing, right? And people will randomly guess too high or too low. And if those incorrect guesses are non-systemic, then eventually they'll cancel each other out. And you'll be left with a close approximation of how many beans are in this jar, because the incorrect high guesses and the incorrect low guesses will cancel each other out, and then you'll be left with the right number. And the more people that are guessing at this, the more accurate number you tend to get. And that's how prediction markets work. You have an idea that you're betting on, and the idea is that if you have enough people betting on it, it will give you some idea of the truth, or the probability of something being true or not true, or something occurring or not occurring. So back to the jelly beans. The reason this works, as I said, is that you have a lot of people guessing on it, and none of them really have a stake in it. And that problem, or that feature, is also a problem, because if you wanted to know about things other than jelly beans and you just took random polls, if you got enough people queried on it, you might get the right answer. But you need a lot of people, right? Well, what if you got 1,000 people to guess on the number of beans in this jar? But I was the one who filled up the jar, so I can put in my 2 cents as well. However, because there's so many people, my opinion doesn't carry any more weight than anyone else's, even though I know I'm right. So you still have to go through this whole process. Is there a way to shortcut this process? Sure. I have some asymmetric information, and if you have people with asymmetric information who are able to put up money and bet on this, then only the people who thought that they had a better than average idea of how many beans are in this jar are going to bet on it. And then since I have asymmetric information that I'm more confident in, I can place more bets, and then the number will move quickly towards the right number, and the predictive value of the wager will reveal itself. And that's why the predictive markets work, because you have people who are not just people randomly in a poll where they have no interest in the outcome, and it would take a lot of people to come at the right result through the law of large numbers. You can have something that doesn't require large numbers. You just have to have people with asymmetric information betting on the outcome, and that will move the probability of success of an event towards where it should be through this signaling based on wagering. And that's where markets like this come into play, Kalshi and Polymarket, because it allows people with asymmetric information to signal that asymmetric information to the market. But the question is, Is that useful for society? So if you have people betting on the outcome of halftime shows at the Super Bowl, what good does that do anyone? And if you have people betting on a invasion in Venezuela a few hours before it happens, that does reveal information that was not known prior to this, but it doesn't change the outcome. So is that useful for society? If you had a way to bet on earthquakes or tsunamis a few minutes before they happen and you had asymmetric information on that, but it wasn't far enough in time that anyone can prepare for it, you would be able to make money on that. But is that a useful function for the markets and for society? That's a philosophical question, not a legal question. But if the courts and Congress are going to interject themselves into this market, then the question they should be asking is who's it for and what's it for? Is it a useful tool to predict things like interest rates and price movements of commodities or cryptocurrencies? Or is it to bet on the outcome of sporting events? And if so, is that something that should be regulated on the federal level or should it be left with the states? So that's my thoughts on that. Leave your comments below if you have questions. And if you'd like to work with me on a consulting or legal basis, you can get in touch with me through the contact information that's in my bio. And I'll give you the disclaimer now, although I'm a lawyer, I'm not your lawyer. And everything on this channel is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice and does not create an attorney-client relationship between you and I. Have a great day, everyone. And if you got something out of this video, hit the subscribe button so you'll see future videos.